We have been putting out a tremendous amount of videos. And you might be thinking, how do I find certain things that I'm looking for? Maybe I'm thinking about annuities or continuous care retirement communities or taxes or estate planning. In this episode, we take you back down and help you to navigate all of the different content we've put out so you can find it easily. Our goal is by the end of this video, you'll have clarity for your personal retirement plan and you'll have action items to secure your retirement.
To learn more about securing your retirement and all the different elements you need to know, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a video every Monday. We have helped hundreds of our clients gain clarity and get on the path to a comfortable and happy retirement. Now it's your turn. Let's dive in.
Welcome everyone to our July wind down. Today we have a very exciting episode because we are going to guide you through all of the different topics and episodes. I think big headline topics that people are always asking us about. So you're going to get a lot of information. But before we get into that, we do want to talk about one of the most important things for our episode, which is our wine that we have.
Yes. So since I've become a Willamette Valley wine snob since my trip to Oregon, I've been on search for a good Pinot Gris that is reasonably priced and easy to access. And so I found Arith. It's super good, and you can find it at your local grocery store, and it's kind of on repeat at my house.
Which, by the way, she went on that vacation like months ago, and we're still having some of that wine. So if you haven't been out there, apparently it's pretty cool. There's some good wineries out there.
Check it out. There's a lot out there. There's also a lot of our podcasts out there. So I'm really excited about this episode because we're going to break it down by category. Over 168 episodes is what we've had over the past 2 years. So it's exciting, and it's good for us even to kind of review it, to know that when people call, we can shoot them right to the right podcast or give them the right episodes to answer their questions. So that's what we're going to do here today.
All right, I do want to say this before you go down, just in case I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because we're about to say a lot of different episodes. Remember that we do have a blog written on this, and the blog is going to have every one of these, just like an index. So don't get stressed.
So we're going to cover 5 topics. Those are estate planning, retirement planning, taxes, portfolio management, and annuities. So let's get started with estate planning.
Yeah, so like everyone has been saying, we have this whole library of information now that we started this podcast a couple years ago, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. And so on the estate planning side of episodes, we've been all over the place. We've interviewed a couple different types of attorneys, with your estate plan, that's basically, how am I leaving money behind? How am I directing that? How am I staying in control of that, even when I'm not around to actually be in control of that? So that is talking about wills, power of attorneys, trusts, durable power of attorneys, living wills, healthcare, everything that you can imagine we've covered in all these various episodes. Our most recent, actually, I think has been the most popular. That's episode 160, where we go through a quick recap, and we called it 6 considerations for your estate plan. And we went through 6 things that we believe every estate plan should have in place. So that's a really good one. If you've ever been interested in a trust, we did a couple episodes on trust. One in particular of just what is a trust. All the time, everyone's always saying, hey, do I need a trust? Or I should have a trust, or my friend has a trust. Well, we did a great episode with Chess Griffin, who's a regular attorney that comes on our podcast, episode 73. We talk all about as to what is a trust and do you even need one? And then we go into all kinds of different topics. So be sure to check out the blog article. If you're interested in estate planning, we've got a huge resource for you here.
We also have retirement planning, which covers a lot of different topics, everything from Social Security to 401ks versus IRAs. So which ones would you recommend?
Yeah, so we did a lot on this particular topic. We have a lot under this category. We did a three-part podcast on planning for retirement, how it works. And we just basically walked through step by step. And that's episodes 8, 10, and 12. And so we just wanted to take it step by step. We didn't want to overwhelm. So again, 8, 10, and 12. Episode 18, one of the biggest concerns people have about in retirement is running out of money, and particularly income. So that episode is how to build an income plan for retirement. This is a very popular one, episode 48. Episode 48, how much do I need to retire? We get that question all the time. And we kind of go through that with you. That leads us to episode 52, which is about a retirement planning checklist. We take you through a lot of different things there. Another huge topic that we cover in episode 58, Social Security, when is the right time? Do I take it at 62? Do I take it at full retirement age? Do I take it at 70? We cover the whole entire gambit on that. And then episode 157, something that Merce and I now talk about with everybody, and that is the retirement bucket strategy. It's a simple 3-bucket strategy. And when you think about it that way, it takes away all the stress because you're going to know where your cash is at. You're going to know where your income and safety is at and where your growth is at. And you don't have to worry. It is a set it and just let it ride kind of plan. And I will tell you, of the folks that we've talked this through with and used this type of planning, they just said, man, I do have peace of mind. So again, there's a lot more here. It's all going to be in the blog. You're going to hear us say that throughout this episode. You're going to need to go to the blog page and get this list. They'll all be listed there for you so you can find it pretty easy.
Yeah. And the next one I would say is the one, from callers, from listeners, clients and people that call in. One of the biggest requests is the tax ones. Like, which one should I listen to? Which one is going to be most helpful for me? So Merce, what should we listen to on taxes? Yeah. And taxes is a huge part of retirement planning. Once you have the investment strategy figured out and you kind of got your retirement plan somewhat figured out as far as where you're going to get income from, well, then taxes becomes something that we really want to focus on, because the different assets you have are taxed differently. Tax rates are kind of, they can be in any direction, and we don't know where they're going in the future. So you want to do some future planning as well with your retirement plan. So we've taken all that into account. We have a lot of really good episodes here. One common topic is this idea of Roth conversions. And so we spend an entire episode 66 is all about how to convert an IRA to a Roth IRA. The idea here is you've got a bunch of pre-tax assets and you're wanting to try to make them tax-free so they can grow tax-free. And does that make sense? So that's a really good one if that's been in the back of your mind that you want to look into. Another big one, we actually called up all of our clients and said, hey, you need to listen to this episode because we think it's very important. And that's episode 94, tax strategies for non-IRA brokerage accounts. So a non-IRA brokerage account has a different type of tax situation than your IRAs do. And you want to be able to understand that and strategies around that. Once you reach age 72, that is RMDs, required minimum distributions. Episode 124 is all about that. A lot of times we hear this word of RMDs, but we don't understand it. And we don't know how much we're going to have to be required to take out by the government say. So we walk through what is an RMD, how do you do the calculation, and things you want to be thinking about around that. And then I'd say the last one, and there's multiple more, but the last one I think is really important is episode 161. That one's touching again on RMDs, but we're also talking about how you can use your RMDs to essentially not pay taxes on them if you're charitably inclined. It's a thing called QCDs. So a lot of resources on taxes, and that list is going to continue to grow, but make sure you, if you have questions on that, again, tap into the blog article and you'll just have to click on a link that'll take you right to the episode. Yeah, I've really enjoyed our tax expert resources. They've been helpful and really enjoyable to listen to on that. The next one we have is portfolio management.
Yeah, one of the things that we have learned well, I've been doing this for over 22 years. Merce has been with me for 10. And one of the things we know is that the people that like our system say this: I'd like to make a decent rate of return and not lose a bunch of money. I don't want to be exposed to significant downturns in the market. Well, how do you do that? Well, there's a lot to it, but we have gone through quite a bit of podcast on this particular topic. Episode 16 was investing during retirement, buy and hold versus active management. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast at all, you know that Merce and I are not buy and hold. We are active managers, but what does that mean? And why should you not do, in our opinion, buy and hold? Well, we then had a guest on episode 19, Bill Sherman, and he talked about how for over 50 years, he's been talking about this idea of why buy and hold is dead. We talk about how to have a risk-adjusted portfolio. Again, people that are close to in retirement do not want to have a lot of risk in their portfolio. That's episode 146. Another big question is, how does a mutual fund work, and what's the difference between a mutual fund and an ETF? Well, that was episode 150. A big one that Merce and I have been talking about, that if you're listening to this, it's 2022. And the bond market has been horrible. Sitting here right now, mid of the year, right at July, the bond market has dropped 12% if you look at the aggregate bond index. So what do you do if you don't do bonds? Well, episode 153, bonds versus bond alternatives. And something that we have utilized a few times this year is cash or money markets. So 159 is, when is cash or a money market good? Why should I ever be in that? So that just kind of gives you a little bit of an understanding. And I mean, we're talking about going through these things in little segments just to get educated. And there's just a wealth of information there that can just help you to get through that and go, okay, I feel confident. I understand the differences now.
Another hot topic that we get asked about is annuities. And which ones of those, which podcast would you suggest for that, Merce?
Yeah, so annuities is a big topic, and we felt it was big enough that we needed to do a whole series on it. The reason being is that there's a lot of intricacies that come with annuities, and there's a lot of different things that you need to understand before you ever think about buying one or think about whether or not it fits into your retirement plan. A lot of our clients are going to have some portion of their assets in an annuity, and we want to make sure that they understand it very well. And so we did this it's actually an 8-part series on annuities, and it's called Annuities, Why Ever Use Them? And there's parts 1 through 8 in the podcast, starting at episode 26, ending at episode 54. And we walk you through what is it? I'll tell you quickly. It's an insurance product that provides some guarantees, and it works very well to complement the risk of the stock market. And so we walk you through, well, how does it do that? How does it earn a rate of return? What are the things that I need to be thinking about as far as liquidity, as far as commitments that you're making with the insurance company? What are these things called income riders? A lot of times the term annuity is just associated with income, and that's not always the case, but there are income riders that can be attached to an annuity, and so we want to make sure you understand that as well. And then at the end of the day, let's say you like the concept and you're like, well, how do I even structure this into my overall plan? We did a whole episode on how we at Peace of Mind are going to implement that into our portfolios for our clients. So a lot of really good resources here on annuities in general. It kind of goes under the portfolio management concept, but we felt, again, it's such a big thing that someone needs to understand. We get plenty of questions around it, though. We sectioned it out, did a whole series on it, and we're going to continue to talk about it, especially with the way that the markets have been, especially with volatility. And again, the majority of you listening are close to retirement or already retired, and we feel that does fit into the picture pretty well. So plenty of resources there.
All right, so go to the blog, because that's going to be where you need to find all this stuff. It's going to be easy. We've just talked it through, but the blog article will be Secure Your Retirement Podcast. Where do I find my episode? And that way you'll be able to kind of go through and understand exactly what you're looking for. And this is just going to be an extremely good resource. So you're not having to scroll through 168 episodes trying to figure out how they all fit together and where's all those part 1s through 8 and all that kind of stuff. So we hope that's been helpful. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'd like to have a chat, go to the website, top right-hand corner, it says schedule call, and our calendar will come up and you can schedule a 15-minute, no obligation, absolutely no charge phone call with myself or Merce. We would love to be able to hop on a call and answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Morgan, for spending another wine down with us and bringing such a good wine to us. We appreciate it. Merce, thanks for helping us taste it.
Happy to be here.
All right, everyone. We will talk to you again next Monday.
We hope this video has given you some confidence and clarity as you plan for a worry-free life in retirement. But what else do you need? We have created a complimentary video course called 3 Keys to Secure Your Retirement. This video walks you through step by step what you need to do to get ready for retirement. You can also check out our podcast called Secure Your Retirement. You can subscribe below.
For more retirement tips, watch this video, Create Your Retirement Income Plan. Also, click here to subscribe to our podcast, Secure Your Retirement. If you like this video, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends.